weird about this one? It's got numbers on it. It's not indefinite, but a definite interval. And I was getting a lot of questions this morning. How do I know that it's integration by parts versus use substitution? Jason, if it was cosine x squared there, what would it be? Is it still integration by parts? No, what would it be? Use substitution, why do you know that? Okay, very definitely, I agree, leading questions will make that. Amelia, any insight?
Because it doesn't like integrate like smoothly. It's
The derivative of this is some constant times x, which is outside. Okay? However, in its natural state as it is, hello. Changing attendance. Where are you in the picture? Okay, but as it is, like, use substitution doesn't work, and I still have a product, so it is most likely integration by parts. And what was the acronym, Flynn, to remember how to choose the U value?
Lipit.
Lipit. L is log isn't in there, I is inverse trig, not there. Polynomials are the things with x's on it. That's a polynomial. I could do that times cosine. And it means that I'm gonna have to do 8 derivatives, there's gonna be 8 pieces to it, and that would suck. But it's doable. Okay, technically, UV, and I want you to understand the difference between where you guys put the bars. Some of you are leaving it on the left and straight, some of you are leaving it on the left and curly. Leaving it on the left and curly is bad. It means that you're doing something similar to, oh, square root of 16, that's 4, and you're leaving the square root on it. Vastly different number. That's wrong. So once you do the integration, the bar moves over and it goes straight to say, now evaluate it from here to there. But I'm still needing to integrate that, putting all the pieces together. So I've integrated both parts. I don't have a plus c because I have actual numbers. Plug in pi to everybody, minus plug in pi over 2 to everybody, and I get that answer. Okay with that idea? Yeah?
You've also done tabular for this,
Yes.
right?
This is a one-step tabular, which is a much cleaner way to do it. But yes, tabular works with this. Flynn, what was your question? Same thing? And someone asked this morning, how do you know that it's gonna be tabular? Polynomial times e or trig, that's when tabular will work nicely. Because the polynomial eventually has a derivative that's 0. And e, sine, and cosine, easy to integrate. You might have a coefficient in here or on the e to the something x, that'll be a pain, but it's doable. All right. Did you guys have questions on any of the homework stuff from the past? Yeah.
21 from last night.
21 last night. Which? This one?
Yeah.
as I said, secant, all things secant, they being AP, I have decided, no, I'm not doing it. Stella, what kind of integration do you think? Is this gonna be use sub, integration by parts, or something else?
Integration by parts.
Integration by parts. Roman, what would the U value be with this integration by parts?
Would be inverse secant.
We don't have log, but we do have trig inverse.
That's
Does anybody remember the derivative of secant inverse? Yeah?
Most probably wrong, but 1 over absolute value of x times square root of, I think it's 1 plus x squared.
Plus.
Okay.
Okay, and you don't need to remember this one, it's not on the exam, and if you need it in real life, just look it up. Secant sucks, or you have the jail word, sucks. Begins with S, so you have the square root, the square, and the subtract, you did not learn it first, so the one is in the back. And seriously, I tell myself that story every time I need to like write this down. Katie is stupid. And every math teacher can say, the quadratic formula to pop goes the weasel. It's one of those stupid, when you're sitting at a table, oh, bonding, what's something you all, okay, we all go walking around with a stupid calculator, graphing calculator, and we can all say, pop goes the weasel, but, quadratic formula. Okay, putting pieces together. Sadie, what's the first bit of the pattern? UV, so what is that in this case?
The inverse secant times theta squared.
Inverse secant times that. Claudia, what's the next piece?
Minus dt.
And I just disregarded those absolute value bars that Michael accurately told me needed to be there. Alex, why can I disregard them? Look at the problem that they gave us.
Because theta is always part.
Except in this case, we're just dealing with theta being greater than 1, so I'm getting rid of those. All right, so that's integration by parts was our step 1. Suggestions? This is a great problem. Yeah.
Now you could take out the 1/2.
Okay. And there's something else I can do.
I started like a U substitution.
Before we do that, Abby,
You can cancel out one of the thetas.
cancel out one of the thetas because now your U substitution, Flynn, is gonna work well. And I can't forget this part in the front. It is part of my answer. Cameron, to do the U substitution, what do I, what's the U value? Theta squared minus 1,
Yep.
the stuff under the square root. So George, what is the du?
2 theta. Yeah.
Okay. And Flynn said to take that other half out, I'm gonna take this 2 out also, just cause. So I have square root of u and I have theta d theta left to deal with, and theta d theta is 1/2 du. Franco, how do I integrate 1 over the square root of u? Power rule,
Yeah.
which is applied how?
You did the negative one.
Raise the power, divide by the new power. So what is the power currently? What power is that?
1/2.
Positive or negative?
Negative one.
So going from negative 1/2 to positive 1/2, so raise the power, divide by a half, dividing by a half, I'm gonna get rid of that one, that's right there. But I need to remember in the first place what Cameron told me to use as the u value. So gross theta squared secant inverse over 2 minus 1/4 square root of theta squared minus 1 plus c. Claire, you okay?
I was stuck on using the 1/2 very well, from DQ, because I thought you got the original problems.
Well, this half came out here. And in the very beginning, Flynn said to take, oh, did I introduce an extra one?
Yeah,
That one came out and this one shouldn't be there?
yeah, that's where I was.
Okay. So, not bad. What do you think, Travis? It's okay. So the kinds of things, that you guys need to be able to do, power rule, whether it's a positive, negative, or whatever. The one place power rule doesn't work is here. Raise the power from -1 to 0, okay, that's a problem. So that should trigger like, okay, there has to be something else. Whose interval, what's the interval of this? And AP is all knickers in a twist about wanting that absolute value in there. Okay? And that does not mean that anytime you see LN that you put in absolute values, it's when you are integrating that you put those in. Other questions from any of the other homework pieces? 15, what kind of integration property or method? Tabular would be great. You could do integration by parts, but tabular works nicely. What about 19? Also tabular. You guys do 20? You don't do that one with the time? Evan, what method are you using? Tabular. Okay. What's the U? X squared? Okay, so there's a reason I'm picking this one to do. Tabular doesn't work unless you pull the plug early, and it's the other way. It is integration by parts, but the acronym, the U value is log. And the reason is UV minus the integral of VDU, the derivative of natural log and the integral of dV have this neat thing that the x in the denominator and the x in that other polynomial cancel. So we don't do a lot of these with natural log or trig inverse, but the reason that those things are chosen first, natural log produces a rational function. And all of the two arctrig things that you should know, arctan and arcsine derivatives, they end up making things that are kind of eventually just the regular U substitution. So they're sneaky. Okay? Right. Other questions? Yeah.
I have a question about U substitution with definite integrals.
Okay.
So why don't you add a C when you integrate, the equation? Cause, I mean, you're just plugging in the values and subtracting.
Doesn't matter what, that junk and that junk, they're gonna cancel out.
Okay.
Yep.
But if you have to find C.
When you have to find C, that's those initial value problems. These guys. You integrated, and then, oh, when x is 1, y is 0.25. Find the C value. There aren't a lot of those in the homework either from the textbook. So I have two things for you guys. One is there are 3 old quizzes. I've smooshed them together and put them on a single sheet. So there's quiz A and quiz B is in here somewhere. And then quiz C is very much like, I don't remember which one, I think B. However, it's angry. It's ramped up a bit more difficult. These are written by Mr. Orlando, who used to teach here. And he's a big football fan, and whenever Tennessee is doing well in football, the quizzes are easy. Let's just say they lost to their rival that year, so quiz C, he was pissed off. He's like, here's your quiz! Rah! So, anyway, there are those. I will give them to you in a second. But there's also Delta Math. Delta Math is required, and it's kind of long, but it's due Thursday. So, I will give you this handout. And you can start whichever one you wanna do. One in Panama.
Can you have the, and we'll, if that makes sense, why I can do it.
Because integrated Excel and X, or natural log of X gives you Excel and X minus X, how did you get that? You had to do integral divided by
Yeah,
That
that's
way.
really confusing.
Yeah, that's why we did it, just spelled with L first, L for log. Okay, guys, are there extras, like one big stack of extras? Keep sending them that way. Did everybody get, copy of the practice quizzes? Yes. Answer keys are posted, and I believe there's a mistake in one of them. Yay, arithmetic.